Could sports media got here without Skip Bayless? Would sports media be where it is right now without Skip Bayless? Some of the questions that are being posed right now as I was given information that tomorrow will be Skip Bayless's last day on FS1. What's interesting about this departure is, other than the news and the headlines, how anticlimactic it is in terms of nothing publicly being said by Skip Bayless, nothing making headlines, and frankly, internally, a lot of people in the building saying, we're not talking about it either. So maybe that's by design, or maybe that's by residue. You understand the difference? By design, hey, he doesn't want it said. Hey, just another day I've had my glorious career, and who knows? It may not even be over. Or is it by residue? Regardless of how you feel, regardless of what's next for you, good riddance. Sometimes it's like that. I've been cut before, and not always with a goodbye party. So we're going to talk about this because his partner in crime for many years, Stephen A. Smith, talked about it. So let's let Stephen A. Smith frame this for us. And let's give Skip Bayless his flowers. And as you know, flowers are also buried in dirt. So let's talk through this all, man, because Skip Bayless has never done a thing to me in the negative, never did one bad thing to me. I got nothing but great things to say about the man. The persona, different conversation. Let's go. Let's hear it, Stephen A.
In terms of being hated, I don't think Skip cares. Matter of fact, in some instances, I think he takes it as a badge of honor. But I'm going to tell you something that all of us should appreciate about Skip Bayless. You know, one of the things that so many folks miss, especially in this day and age, and it's one of the things that I will openly confess pisses me the hell off. You know, when elder statesmen talk about respecting your elders and stuff like that, you're talking about respecting people who paved the way, because you know something, if they didn't do it, not only would you not have known what to do, you might not have ever been able to do it. There's always pioneers. And when we look at the world of podcasting and sports talk and what have you, Skip Bayless is one of the pioneers. And let me tell you about something that I know for a fact better than anybody. So many people paid too much attention, wondering and lamenting what he said. The hating on LeBron James, the love affair with Tim Tebow, and his fixation on the Cowboys in a positive way, where I'm the troll and all of this other stuff. You know what you miss? If he didn't do what he did, how would we have been able to do what we do? Think about the subjects we tackled. Think about the matters we pontificated about. Think about the sensitive issues that were broadcast over the national airwaves. Think about how polarizing they were. Think about disenfranchised communities and other minorities within this country salivating for opportunities to have a voice and to make sure their voices were heard. Think about the things that people say and do now. If a white older guy like Skip Bayless wasn't willing to take the positions that he took while inviting people to sit opposite of him and challenge him on so many different issues, would debate television be what it is? See, a lot of times we get caught up in thinking about what that person's saying. Sometimes it's the platform they provide. Do you know that there isn't a week that goes by where there's something that I could say, but I know coming from me, it won't work?
Okay. All right. Strong was Stephen A. was saying. I think strong because those are points that hit home for me as well. Like, damn, like how many flowers am I going to give to Skip Bayless just because Skip Bayless made this thing something, right? This was something before, but he made it something that everybody got brighter stars from it. Whether you were sitting across from him, oh man, I remember the days when I first started ESPN, and if you got on cold pizza and Skip was sitting there with that stack of papers staring at you, oh, you made it. You did something. It was a graduation. Or on First Take, as they converted that show and took Skip's segment and said, that's the whole show. Imagine that. You go on a show and you're doing segments, and those segments hit so hard, we're going to make a show off your segments. Kind of the only time I ever seen that happen. Tell me another one. Remember when Urkel came on, Family Matters? He wasn't supposed to be the star. Shout out to Urkel too, my boy Jalil. We were just hanging last weekend, but he took over that show quickly, right? You look at this situation, you're like, all right, Skip. But I want to backtrack. I want to go back a little bit because Skip Bayless was in a race, and did he win the race with Woody Page and Jim Rome? Thought it was going to be easy. I just say Woody Page. Like, yeah, Skip got Woody Page. Oh, Jim Rome. Interesting. And by fanfare, by like, wow, I know Skip Bayless. It seems like Skip Bayless may have gotten Jim Rome in terms of name and Q rating, etc. But then you dig a little deeper and you realize, even though Skip Bayless been doing this, it's college, Vanderbilt, whatever, 1974. He was working at LA Times in 76. I'm 2 years old in LA, and I must be crumbling up LA Times papers that Skip Bayless is writing in. That's insane. I'm almost 50, y'all. That's crazy. Flowers, salute to Skip Bayless. But in this game we're talking about right now, sports media, it took Jim Rome and his show, Jim Rome is Burning, Jim Rome and his radio show, who used to bring on Skip Bayless all the time. Y'all remember those? Because I used to do Jim Rome's show when he wasn't there. And let's just say we could have got here, and this is going to sound harsh, but it's not. We could have got here without Skip Bayless, but we got here with Skip Bayless. Because Jim Rome was doing this with Skip Bayless, along with Woody Page and many others. But Skip seemed to come out champion, or at least co-champion with Jim Rome. But what is that? What did they capture? What energy did they grab? They grabbed what the masses have built up in them, whether it's respect for athletes and sports, whether it's envy for athletes and sports, jealousy for athletes and sports, resentment for athletes and sports. I'm going the full cycle, the full loop. As now I'm a coach. Before I was a player. Before becoming a coach and after being a player, I was a broadcaster. I'm touching every corner of this room, all the spectrums. And there's a term I told you guys my daughter told me that they say in college. It's one of these newbie terms, right? It's called NARP. And I was like, what is a NARP? She said it's a non-athletic regular person. And I thought that was like, damn. I thought that was like dissing. I was like, damn, baby, why you call people NARPs? Like everybody on a college campus that's not wearing flip-flops and socks with empty backpacks, you know what I'm saying? The athletes, they're NARPs. And at first I was kind of like taken aback and I was going at her. I was challenging her. Like, why do you call people NARPs? That's like calling somebody a punk or a sissy, you know what I'm saying? Other words. I was like, ain't nothing wrong with them dudes. A lot of them going to turn out to be success stories and they're going to be the homies, etc. Right? I kicked it with a lot of NARPs, but we didn't call them NARPs. But then she started to break it down to me and I started to understand, I see why y'all call them NARPs. There was a lot of resentment, a lot of pushback. I know when I went to Columbia, I know where you went to school. If you were an athlete or you were not an athlete, there was always these conversations about, how they get in here. Oh, we know how they got in here. Oh, they ain't study. Oh, they don't have to do this. Oh, that. And I never termed that terminology, that toxicity. Like you prejudging me. Like, oh, I'm here because what? Oh, because I'm good in sports and I'm smart? Oh, you're here because what? You're smart and your mama and daddy got money and your granddaddy went here? Like, we really arguing the same thing, right? Just how'd you get your privilege? How'd you get yours? Why are you mad at mine? And because people are mad at others' privilege, pointing at it with three fingers pointing back at them, you get the birth and evolution of sports media. As we see now, the death of debate TV and sports media in that genre. Yeah, debate TV is crumbling. We know it. I mean, even First Take, the #1 show, is not a debate show anymore. It's really a carousel. It's really an opinion-based conversation that gets heated, but hey, what you think? Stephen A. Smith is playing point guard as much as he's a shooting point guard, right? He ain't going out, it ain't him and Skip, and then we're going to bring in one more person, and then maybe one more. They don't do that anymore. It's just, hey, let's flow, let's go. Shannon Sharpe, let's go. I love it. I love it because I think First Take got legs still. And that brings me to the point in the questions that I had starting this topic off. Could sports media got here without Skip? For me, it doesn't feel like it, but at the same time, it could. We didn't have to take this direction. Should we be where we are? Should Skip Bayless be in a position where he is right now? I mean, look, he did 40-something years, so you're like, yeah. But I was talking to an executive this week who told me this. He said, man, FS1 messed this up. And that was the first time I looked at it like, other than everybody's like, you should have kept Shannon, right? And then it's like, but how do you keep Shannon if you keep Skip? Because I told y'all a while back, it's Skip's way or the highway. And they chose Skip's way many times, including bringing on Shannon Sharpe. That was Skip's way. But it finally got to a point where, as an executive, you can only make so many bad bets, wrong bets, high-profile missteps, and then your job is gone. And this time they couldn't risk that. They had to go with Skip, hit the highway. And the executive was breaking it down saying, there's no way you let Shannon Sharpe walk. You make this situation work. You force it. So instead of getting to this place where you got to get rid of Skip, you check Skip when Shannon and him are beefing. You say, Skip, let me just tell you this. You're going to be out. Not another strike. You're going to be out if this doesn't work. So let's not get to that point where we have no room for error. This is what great coaches do. This is what great executives do. You mitigate the issues, right? You don't let them get out of hand and say, I pick. But it's been the philosophy of some executives, FS1, for a while. I told you guys. It started way back with Chris Carter. They were just like, hey, when we got water and oil, it just ain't going to work. Y'all go y'all separate ways. And you have success doing that? Look at Nick Wright right now. You have success doing that? Look at First Things First right now. Best show they got. And then you also got failures. Look what happened to Undisputed. Look what happened to Skip Bayless. Like, Skip Bayless still should be chomping, right? So here's the thing. Skip Bayless, the guy who was brought to FS1 primarily, number one. Colin was two. I'm not talking about when they get in there or none of that. I'm talking about emphasis. I'm talking about impact. You the dog. You the lead dog, Skip Bayless. Now it's a wrap. And I'm going to say unceremoniously, like, no fanfare. Maybe tomorrow is going to be a whole epic show, and I hope so if it's tomorrow. It could be wrong information. You know how the game goes. But looking at this, there's a lot of NARP energy in sports media. And I was talking to an athlete and another athlete who's doing production. And guess what the spirit is right now? And y'all seeing it. I just want to tell y'all what y'all seeing in case you ain't catching it. Athletes are coming back to get what was hijacked from them, which was sports media. Athletes the resentment that was given to athletes because, hey, I didn't make it and I was adjacent to it, so I'm going to talk about it, but I'm going to kill y'all because I'm not invested in it because I couldn't do it. All that narc college energy. You know, when we used to go to the parties, athletes walk in, oh, here they go. There go the girls. There go the party. There go, and the whole scene shifting. I've told y'all stories. I've been to some of these big college campuses as a pro, as a broadcaster, and hey, I went to school too. Oh, man, everything shifts when the ballers coming up, right? All that energy got turned into a genre that is now on its dying legs. Well, the athletes are saying, let's give it a rebirth. You see all these athletes with shows, production companies, podcasts, etc. Look at Peyton Manning out there claiming his territory, Omaha Productions, right? Respect. Look at Pat McAfee, what he doing, claiming it. Look at all the smoke, what they doing out there, claiming it. It's cats out here claiming it. Look at what Gilbert Arenas is doing. Come on, y'all. And these stories can't be faked. These stories got to be told by those who lived through the story. Okay? You're an expert when you got the experience. And as Charles Barkley said, there are no experts in sports. There's a lot of experienced people, which makes them expert in sports. I'm looking forward to this next frontier, and I'm not looking forward to Skip Bayless having a departure that doesn't go with fanfare. So let me give Skip Bayless his full bouquet of flowers. Every time I work with Skip Bayless, every time I talk to Skip Bayless, I'm not lying to y'all. And this, I can't say this about a lot of people in the industry. You name them. Yep. I've had beef with when I say beef, I don't mean beef. I mean arguments, issues, problems. Called it to the principal office. You said this and I said, except Skip Bayless. So when I hear people attack Skip Bayless and get mad at what he did to sports media and all that and how he hijacked it, I'm conflicted because I'm like, yeah, you're right. I wish we didn't get here. But man, you are wrong. That dude ain't who you think he is. That dude is a whole different animal, special. So a character, right? A persona. He went to work. He put his work hat on. Said, that ain't who I really am. It's how I'm going to go get this work done. So y'all tell me what y'all think, man, because it's crazy. I just wanted to get this out, especially if this is it for Skip Bayless. And hopefully it's not it. But respect to a great person who did some damaging things, I think, to something that is going to be highly protected by me and others. And Lord, it's the end of an era. It's the end of greatness, whether we liked it or not, in Skip Bayless. So beat it up in the comments. Let me know what y'all think, man. As y'all can see, y'all can hear, there's conflict in terms of how I feel about that, because I don't want to kill a great person who did bad things, but damn it, that's how the game goes.